Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I'm Osman Safi.
And I'm Zafran bin Zafian.
And I'm Muhammad Jahdami Shaharuddin.
We will be presenting on our final report for UNGS 2290, Knowledge and Civilization in Islam. There is no absolute judgment on basically how secularization has taken place in IIUM. However, we are about to study on how the Islamic value has been undermined through three effective key measurements. The first one is the adherence towards the dress code. The secondly is about the normalization of premarital coupling. And the third and last one is the gender identity conflict, which is a subfield under gender dysphoria. How these practices affected the lifestyle of Islamic teaching among students in IIUM. The reason why we choose these two kuliah is because we have a bigger sample population from the whole campus. Here's a brief background about our project. We are conducting a deep interview with selected student leaders, and we have the semi-structured question for them to be answered. The finding from them, not only we study the awareness from these student leaders about the mentioned issues, we also find a specific analysis on the solution so that we can bring the new knowledge to the general public to study our findings.
The student leaders were concerned about some changes that happening among IUM students. Notice an increase in dating before marriage, about the regulation of dress code, and concerns about how IUM students view genders. To address these challenges, student leaders emphasized the need for stronger enforcement and regulations to make a student following the regulations. This requires a collective effort from everyone within the IUM community.
The first main issue is about the prevalence of premarital relationship, which is coupling issue. So there are widespread concerns over the increasing prevalence of premarital relationship among students. This was not merely enacted but perceived as a growing trend within the IUM community. For example, like us, the younger generation will merely use the apps TikTok and Instagram often, showcasing idealized relationships and promoting dating culture was identified as a major contributing factors. This platform can desensitize students to Islamic value and normalize behavior that may be considered inappropriate within an Islamic context. All the respondents, which is the eight student leaders that we have already interviewed, agree that a noticeable decline in the dress code adherence was observed across both in kuliah. So the external factor identified in common is the increasing influence of global fashion trends, often emphasizing casual and revealing clothing, has contributed to a relaxation of dress code standards. Internally, however, inconsistent enforcement of dress code guidelines by the university authorities was perceived as a significant factor. Some added that students may view dress code restriction as outdated or unnecessary or old school. The main issue that arises in both kuliah is the last is emergence of gender dysphoria. While acknowledged as a sensitive issue currently, gender dysphoria was generally perceived as less prevalent within the IUM context compared to premarital relationship and dress code violation. This is because it is less visible. However, some findings reveal that the support group exists informally between the soft boy and allow them to support each other with more understanding community. So in appearance, they were less dramatic appearance in both kuliah. However, it is traceable that some of these femboys mix around with the other gender freely and identify themselves as allies. Student leaders took this issue seriously and worry that the normalization may lead to further consequences into homosexual relationship among students.
The final part of the presentation is the solution or new remarks found from the interviewees, where the respondents shared some insight that may be applicable not only in student bodies, authorities or the university side from both kuliah. Some of the concern of the students, including on how instructors or lecturers should be reminding the students on daily basis or in more frequent manners. This is because some of the students, they are not only concerned about what lecturers view and what lecturers remind about them. This might be a good reminder since they will be entering the classes on a daily basis. Secondly, this is on the responsibility or the awareness in the class itself. When the student aware that these lecturers might be having some issues about their dress code, they will be more likely to adhere to the instruction or the reminder from the lecturers. Secondly, is about the normalization of the premarital coupling. Some of the students aware that this is less visible in physical, however, it depends on individuals. Means the best that they can do is keep the daily reminder to all the community, and student bodies can associate with the administration. Number 3 is about the gender dysphoria. Some of these respondents, they think that this is the least prevailing issues compared to the other two. Although the third issue is not as a hot topic as the other two, we must give better attention before it spread to the physical space of these two kuliah. A consistent reminder from the kuliah, the student bodies are highly encouraged to curb these 3 issues. In sum, the issues may lead to the secularization agenda in IIUM.
To wrap up our project, for this project, I will be briefly explain about the conclusion in terms of the key arguments in the project. This project explore that the challenges faces by Islamic University, which is IIUM, particularly IIUM in upholding Islamic values amidst the growing trend of secularization. And secondly is the analysis broadens into the root causes of these challenges, attributing them to the factors such as peer pressure, social media influence like TikTok just now, evolving cultural norms, and inconsistent enforcement of Islamic guidance in our campus. So the further recommendation that we are addressing is, firstly, is to address the erosion of dress code adherence. Consistent and visible monitoring is crucial. And the secondly is tackling the issue of premarital coupling relationship requires a diverse approach. And finally, related to the third issue, which is addressing concern related to gender dysphoria, necessities creating a safe and supportive environment. So I think that's all from us. Thank you and enjoy watching for our videos. That's all.